Welcome everyone, my name is Ali and I will talk about a brief survey I conducted on cognitive cybersecurity. This is going to be the layout of my presentation. Financial analysts forecast that technology markets are growing rapidly, and of course you don't need to be an analyst to see that. And some literature claims that the key tech markets such as Internet of Things will double within the next 5 years. Nevertheless, the growing size of the market also creates a prosperous landscape for the adversarial actors to devise novel cyber attacks and cause negative financial impact. A study conducted by Online Trust Alliance states that the cost of cyber attacks reached to $45 billion globally only in 2018. And the loss of cyber systems suffering from shows that our computer infrastructure is at risk more than ever, and to ensure the healthy growth of computer-based technologies and markets, cybersecurity should be the top priority. The cyber systems are as strong as the weakest link. In the dynamics of cybersecurity, the human is almost always the entry point. Not every user is a security expert, and the perception skills of novice users may not be rich enough to detect cyber threats efficiently. If we were able to understand how experts perceive the security threats and their cognitive processes, we could introduce cognition into cybersecurity domain and improve the resiliency of our cyber systems. Additionally, we could create tools to aid novice users to anticipate the behaviors of security experts. Likewise, tools may help experts to have improved situational awareness in the cases where the immense amount of data, or sometimes the lack of data regarding the threat analysis, may be beyond the cognitive skills of the experts. Luckily, we have the branch of cognitive cybersecurity that deals with the human element. To address the research needs, this paper seeks out to survey the literature on how our cognitive skills play a role in perceiving the cyber threats. More specifically, this paper looks at the following key elements. These are the importance of the situation awareness in the presence of cyber attack, the mental map users may create for a given threat, and hopefully an empirical representation of cognitive processes. And lastly, the decision support systems implementing the cognitive procedures towards better cybersecurity. Let's start with the situational awareness. The Committee on National Security Systems, which sets the national level cybersecurity policies for United States government, defines the situational awareness in 3 steps. The first step is perception, which is the data collection about a threat. The second step is the comprehension that corresponds to cognition or categorization of the threat and the risks that involve. And lastly, the projection, which is the action plan or the decision-making part of the awareness. The MITRE, a nonprofit organization that manages federally funded research and development centers, looks at cyber situational awareness from another perspective. MITRE states that a comprehensive cyber situation awareness involves 3 key elements. The first element is network awareness that is related to the background knowledge that we generate about a threat. And secondly, the threat awareness that involves the identification and tracking of incidents and suspicious behaviors. This also uses the network awareness as the background knowledge. And lastly, the mission awareness, which is related to understanding the impact of the actions taken towards a containment of a threat at the operational level. I will not list the studies focusing on cyber situational awareness one by one. Instead, I will talk about the commonalities among them. A common theme that I observed among the situational awareness studies is the mechanistic approach, where the data perception, information analysis, and the action are abstracted. There is an end-to-end process chain through these abstractions to achieve the situational awareness. They follow the CNSS definition closely regarding the perception, comprehension, and projection. In cognitive cybersecurity context, perception level is the level where events in time and space are collected by sensors. The comprehension level involves the analysis of the threat by using the synthesis of events obtained from the perception level. This level also, like I said before, uses the background knowledge to perform pattern recognition and statistical matching. And level 3 is the projection, where the agents evaluate the risk and produces a plan accordingly. While these studies mention the importance of mission awareness, they are often shy in incorporating this concept into the proposed situational awareness frameworks. There are also rational approaches to characterize the behavior of human agents in the presence of threats. These approaches generally utilize cognitive maps. For example, Bowie studied the cognitive maps of 46 participants and found out that despite clear warning signs, a majority of users fail to cognize security threats properly. The figure on the left presents the mental model of users during the evaluation of secure and unsecure websites, and the percentage of participants categorizing these websites as safe in red. Despite a padlock with a red structure on a website implying the website is not safe at all, 36% of the users labeled it as safe. So mental models are capable to expose the gap between what is represented and what is perceived, especially for some novice users. And to address this gap, another mental map study suggests that the warnings should be sufficiently informative, providing potential risks, consequences if ignored, and possibly the links to the relevant online forums that provide a solution. I say sufficiently informative because there is a trade-off between the amount of the information provided to the novice user and also its helpfulness. The situational awareness implies human awareness, but full awareness of complex cyber systems by humans is impossible, especially when there is an immense amount of event data generated by massive number of sensors, or in some instances, the lack of the data. To take the cognitive load of the human decision maker, there is a need for tools that can support human cognitive skills. In this case, the decision support systems towards cognitive cybersecurity may enable effective human-in-the-loop cyber threat analysis system and improve human cognitive skills. In general, these decision support tools combine cognitive processes of security experts with modern tools such as big data, machine learning, and support decision systems. While these tools automate cognitive processes to some degree, they all give the final decision power to the analyst. It should be noted that artificial intelligence can aid the security analyst by a great length, but artificial intelligence also suffers from the narrowness. In other words, AI may not be able to articulate well against the new cases of threats if the knowledge base for those threats is limited. Therefore, there is some emphasis among these tools on human analysts being able to interact with every level of cognition within the decision support tool, ranging from low-level cognitions such as sensing and information collection to high-level cognition such as action planning. In conclusion, the situational awareness literature seems to be mature, and they address how the integration of cognitive processes can enhance the overall cybersecurity. However, there's a significant lack of empirical studies that have the potential to reveal the cognitive processes in depth. I think the lack of rational models are due to the lack of the empirical data. I didn't see any Bayesian model or any type of statistical regression model that explained the correlation between the cognitive processes and the security directly. Mental models achieve some level of rational model, but they are very limited in explaining the rationality behind our cognitive skills. Another aspect of situational awareness and mental maps that they can show that there are distinct differences between novice and experts about how they perceive the threats. However, educating the novice users by conveying the risks, consequences, and solutions may trigger an expert-like response. So some users are indicating about that, but I didn't see a clear empirical data on this aspect either. The decision support tools towards cognitive cybersecurity implement situational awareness well, but they are not autonomous enough to detect the threats and decide upon what to do by themselves. Human analysts are always required, but my take from this course is, again, cognition is still an ongoing area of study, and implementation of cognitive processes into the computer environment is always a challenging task. So it is too optimistic for expecting autonomy in decision support tools immediately. And lastly, I was not able to find much on mission awareness at operation level. In other words, there is no tool that evaluates how cybersecurity decisions affect operations and how do we decide what is optimal decision given a cyber threat. So thanks for your time and interest. I will be happy to receive your questions if you have any.